Welcome to the 250th episode of the Elite Business Advice Podcast. If you're new here, my name is Chris Moore. I'm the founder of Elite Business Advisors, your host of our podcast here. We're going to have a little bit of an unconventional episode today in celebration of this milestone. We're going to resume our normal kind of teaching episodes next week. We've got a couple guest interviews lined up coming down the road. But before I get into the episode today, I want to first off just say thank you to all of you guys for supporting this show. If this is your first episode with us, thanks for supporting this one. If this is episode 20, thanks for the last 20 episodes of support. And for a few of you guys listening to this, I actually probably know for a fact that this is your 250th episode with us. And that just means the world to me. I appreciate all of you guys that have listened, again, whether it's one episode or 250 or anywhere in between there. It is a very humbling day for me as we release this 250th episode of our podcast. And why is it kind of a big deal? Not just because it's a nice big round whole number, but for me, it's because we've put out a brand new episode every single Tuesday for 250 weeks straight. We've yet to miss a week. I don't plan on it. I don't know when we'll ever shut this down, if we'll ever shut it down. I might be 75 years old still recording this, and that's okay, because I love getting to do this every week. A lot of people ask me, like, man, it must be really awesome that, you get to do a podcast and all this stuff, and I absolutely love it. If I'm being truthful with you, after about week 14, it turned into work. Right? It was really fun in the beginning, and then it quickly turned into just another thing on my to-do list. I don't want to say just another thing because I don't mean it like that, but it quickly became work, right? And sometimes I feel that in a week. It's like, I need to get an episode recorded. I need to get it, produced so that we can put it out there on YouTube. All of our shows are going on YouTube now, as well as the audio files out on all the major platforms. Sometimes it is work, but honestly, you guys know I love what we do here at EBA, and I love being able to show up and put this out. I mean, 250 weeks of content is well over 5,000 minutes of education we've been able to put out in the last 5 years. Value add, free, no charge to anybody, just my time invested into it. And that is just one of our core values here. We want to lead with value always, no matter what happens with it. And so it's cool to reflect on that. And that's if every episode is only 20 minutes. We know there's plenty of weeks that it's not 20 minutes. And thinking back to season 1, we actually were like 40 to 50 minute episodes. And we quickly realized that we needed to scale that back because it was almost a little bit too much for people. We found 20 to 30 minutes is a great sweet spot. But what started as a really fun project, in coordination with the PCA at the time, actually. We started recording in studio at the PCA office in April of 2021. There was a vision they had from the creative director at the time as we were wanting to kind of launch a podcast, and it all kind of came together. And it's compounded into a weekly show now that I get to record, edit, and publish all here in-house now. Eventually, that'll get handed off pretty soon. I've just been thankful to know how to go through and do all that through some great teachers in my life. But so what I want to do on today's show, I have a few thoughts I want to share around the topic of consistency, and I figured what better time to do it than here when we are celebrating episode 250. And then I wanted to do something fun to celebrate this milestone. When we did episode 200, I had some of my greatest friends in this industry on here. I know Juan Vasquez, Matt and Maggie Kuiper were on here, Corey Leister, Shane Fast. I feel like there's one other person I'm forgetting on that. And so I wanted to do something different, but something fun as well. And I actually realized that I thought it'd be really cool to include some of our listeners that have supported us over the years, some of our clients, to just share what's been most impactful to them from this show and leave you guys kind of with a couple of random nuggets to hopefully take away on top of these few thoughts I want to share on consistency. So I hope it helps. Thanks for plugging in. This is the Elite Business Advice Podcast. My mentor, Dan Martell, said on our weekly coaching call last week, 2 simple words. He said, consistency compounds. And I've had that written on my whiteboard here on my desk ever since then. Consistency compounds. And I've known that in all the years of doing things like this, right? It's true for putting out podcasts. It's true for eating healthier and working out. It's true in your business and the things you need to be doing. If you focus on something consistently, the results will compound with you, right? In that sense, in everything I just shared, it's positive compounding. I know for me, I've shared on here before, I'm on this health and fitness journey here in 2026. I'm still going strong. 8 weeks in, roughly, as of the time of recording this. And if I'm being honest with you, I told John the other day in my morning text to him, I told him, I said, for the first time and this has been within the last 3 to 5 days, for the first time, I can actually see and feel some tangible results. I knew that I was getting healthier. I knew I was on the right track. I knew I was doing the right things, but I actually feel it now. I actually can start, I looked in the mirror the other day and I was like, oh, I can actually see it. I can see the fat kind of slowly going away, right? I'm still not where I want to be, but man, in 8 weeks, but it took me 8 weeks of doing the thing I knew I needed to do day in, day out, week in, week out, to even see a glimmer of it. There's so much more that I'm envisioning in my head on where I want to get to with that, right? And I'm not caught up in a weird self-esteem, I would just want to be jacked and ripped, but I have a vision for where I want to get back to, arguably back where I was when I was 20 and had a great metabolism and worked out and played hockey all the time. But I want to get back there, but 8 weeks until I even saw a little bit of something, right? Which has now been great reinforcement that great, I'm on the right track. But most people stop about week 4 because they don't see anything. They don't feel anything. I felt better. I felt less crappy. There was one night I had this huge dessert. I was kind of it was one of my cheat days. And it was one of the few times I've actually just gone a little overboard knowing it. And I just let it happen. And it was great. But honestly, I felt like crap for 12 hours. I'm oh, all right, cool. I can really see a difference. But as far as seeing those results, I don't know. Maybe it's the steroids I started on last week. Maybe that's what's doing it. Who knows? I'm joking if you guys don't know me and my sense of humor. So we talk about consistency compounding positively. But on the flip side, I want you to also know that there's consistency that can be a negative thing. There's consistency that compounds when we eat poor, right? When we let ourselves go, when we let our negative thoughts control our minds. That consistency leads to destruction, right? When we get in bad business habits, whatever that is, right? Maybe we're not hitting our North Star metric every week. Maybe we're not managing our money the way we need to. Maybe we're not doing the marketing things that we used to do, right? Whatever it is, know that consistency is playing a role in your life and that it can go positive and it can go negative, right? And so I want you to think about this as you're going through your life every day. What are the things you're being consistent in, whether that's good or bad? What are the habits that are good compounding things that we need to keep up? What are some of the bad things that you realize are being consistent that will eventually become a negative thing if they haven't already? We're just maybe didn't realize it, right? I'll admit this. I've cut way back on drinking, not even just from the health and fitness journey, just honestly over the last year. And it was one of those things, I don't feel like I ever really had a drinking problem. I feel like sometimes I used it to cope with stress and would lean on that a little bit, but not in a crazy way, right? But I realized there's just a lot of days I'd get home, grab a beer, cook dinner, whatever. And at one point it hit me and I was this has just become a habit. It's not even a dependency thing. It's not it's literally just became consistent, honestly, not for a good reason, not for a bad reason. It just did. And it was it's just what I was doing. Right. And I kind of realized that and I was oh, maybe we should stop that. Right. It's easy to get consistent with things without realizing them. And again, it wasn't leading me down a path of destruction, but I'm sure it was creating habits in my life, or I'm sure that's why I would get tired at 7:30 because I'd drink a hazy IPA at 5 and it would wear off and I'd be half asleep at 7. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. So either way, I want you to know consistency can be good. Consistency can be bad. So here's what I want you to think through real quick. Are you, and when it comes to your business, I just want to name off a few things here. Are you consistent in your job costing? You didn't think I was going to do a 250th episode, not even mention the words job costing. Come on, you know me better. Are you consistent in following up on your estimates every single time, except for those one special customers you overprice and hope they never call? Are you consistent in having daily check-ins with your crews in production? Or are you consistently neglecting these important rhythms in your business? Right? We're either doing it or we're not. There's not much of an in-between here. There's some areas that maybe there's some gray, but for the most part, these things, you're either doing it or you're not. You're either doing job costing or you're not. I have seen a few of you guys half do it, but for the most part, we're doing it or we're not, okay? And so here's what I want to do. I want to leave you with one final thought before we jump into kind of the fun, different part of this episode. Because I'm afraid some of you guys are going to beat yourself up reflecting over how consistent you are or aren't, or I guess that would be consistent or inconsistent you are, whatever. I don't want you guys to beat yourself up over it, okay? Because I want you to understand there's power in knowing this. Awareness is key to making any change in your life. And so now that you're aware of how things can be consistent in a good way or a bad way, I want you to take that and I want you to focus forward on it, okay? I read something today that said, the words that follow your I am statements are some of the most powerful thoughts you have. So instead of telling yourself, I'm not taking my business seriously, or I'm not good with my numbers, or I'm just not good at estimating, I want you to stop all that. And I want you to stop and reframe your perspective to say, I am disciplined and consistent in my follow-ups. I am disciplined and consistent in my job costing every week. I am serious about my business. I am a $3 million company, whatever your goals are this year, $300,000 company. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, start talking about I am. Because unfortunately, we start saying things like, again, I'm not good at this, or I'm not, or man, I listened to that episode about Chris. I'm really bad with consistency. I'm really bad with this. Stop. Start telling yourself, I am blank. Right? I am a bit person. I may not be yet, but I am that person, right? Because that's the direction I'm going. Your actions will follow when you make those statements. And so remember that. And so I want to turn the rest of this episode over to some great people that have been along for our journey. They've supported us for quite a while. I'm very humbled by the things they had to say. And I'm proud in hearing the ripple effect of the impact we're having on communities all over North America, tying right back into our why that we talked about a couple weeks ago. I hope you enjoy it.
Hey everyone, Ryan Parr here with Nashville Painting Professionals. Just want to take this time to really thank Elite Business Advisors for really making a big change into our business. We started with Chris about 9 months ago, and we've been in business here in Nashville, Tennessee for about 6 years now. And over the 9 months, we were kind of getting stuck. We noticed our revenue growing, but our gross profit was really kind of staying put and not growing with the revenue. And so when we got in with Chris, we were averaging about a 30% margin. And in this short period of time, we're now seeing a 50% margin. And anything below that, you have your team asking questions. So one, that's increased our marketing money, allowed us to get more employees for better growth. It also just the overall culture. When you have a team where you start implementing the process and systems Elite Business Advisors has provided us with, it's really got everyone to slow down their role, and we have been able to take on more work, become more profitable, and everything like that. And I know for some people, it's like it was for me, hard to find a consulting where you kind of have that negative connotation behind it, but it was the best thing that did for us. It was one thing I would never change in a world, and if anybody's debating it, definitely would recommend. But really want to thank Chris and his team for making this possible. It's been an incredible experience.
Hey, John Will, Dynamic Home Solutions, coming to you from the office in the fighting city of Flint, Michigan. So I found the Elite Business Advice podcast probably 3 or 4 years ago, something like that now. And I had kind of come to the point, small company, had like maybe 2 guys running around at the time, but I kept having the same issues, you know, with especially employees, but different job site issues, stuff like that. And I was at the point where I thought, man, if this is being in business, I don't want to do this anymore. Too much of a headache, long days, you know, all the rest of that. So I got on my podcast app and just typed in painting podcasts, and Chris popped up. I listened to Elite Business Advisors a few times, and Chris always had his plug in the end about calling in for that. First call was free, right? And then he would hook you into business coaching. So I made that first call, and we've had bi-weekly meetings ever since, and it's been huge. We went from probably about a $250,000 a year company with maybe 2 guys running around at the time. We broke over $1 million this last year. I've got a team of 11 guys, including 2 paint crews and also a carpentry crew. My carpenters are doing everything from kitchens and bathroom remodels to building decks. We've got a few additions lined up for this summer. We've been able to service previous paint customers and now help them with construction projects, which has been awesome, and vice versa. So, very thankful for Chris and his friendship. The bi-weekly meetings are great. Even during the week, if I've got a question, I can text him, call him, say, hey, do you have 5 minutes? I can run this past you. But just to have somebody to bounce ideas off, to get advice from, has been huge, very helpful. Business coaching was one of those things I never thought I needed. But once I got into it, and especially now, I halfway kick myself. I'm glad I'm doing it now, but I'm like, man, if I would have done this way back when I started, I'd be so much farther ahead. But very excited for you, Chris, celebrating episode number 250. I listen to it religiously every week. I appreciate all your help, and look forward to our next meeting soon. All right, man, thanks.
Good morning. This is Joel Greiner, the owner of Paint the Earth here in St. Louis, Missouri. And I'm here to congratulate, first off, Elite Business Advisors and Chris Moore on the 250th episode of the podcast. That is a crazy amount of content, and so much has been helpful to me and my business, as well as I know other painting contractors around the Midwest and around the country. And so, wow, congrats. That's awesome. I'm supposed to share what the most impactful thing has been about working with Chris and Elite Business, and there's so many things, it's hard to kind of narrow it down. I'm one of the first painting clients, I believe, working with Chris. I know Brian and Shannon with HD Painting were one of the first, and I believe I might have been second or third. So I've been around, and Chris has been around, working together for a long time. I think the most impactful thing has probably been just financial systems, getting them in place, helping me as an entrepreneur who oftentimes does feel like it's kind of a roller coaster ride, to have like a through line of consistent tracking of our finances, which has helped keep me and our business from financial ruin, to be honest. But just, it's not a discipline that I had in very good practice for. And having the right spreadsheets and the right tracking tools and the intentionality of just watching and checking our finances as a business, and that's really been quite impactful for us. More specifically, Chris has preached from the very beginning that job costing is pretty central to understanding your company and success and profits. And job costing has just become like a part of our business, almost like part of our brain. Like the way that we think about our business is through the grid of job costing. And so we run all of our jobs through the job costing spreadsheet that Chris has created. And it helps us make good and sound financial decisions for our company. And if we had not done that, chances are we would have made some pretty bad decisions along the way, and I might not be here right now, working as a contractor, running a business. So again, congratulations, Chris. Thank you so much for all of your hard work. I know you have a lot of really thankful businesses around the country that you've made a big difference with, and look forward to continuing to work with you in the future.
My name is Stephanie Wilding, and I own Walls Made New. We are a residential painting company out of Louisville, Kentucky, and I had started Walls Made New back in July of 2020, and I have listened to the Elite Business podcast ever since the beginning. I felt like it was a really good support system as I would listen in on the episodes while I was on jobs, and I was just solo for a couple of years, so it was just me, and I had a lot to learn as I was new in the painting industry, working as a professional. And I feel like it really just helped give me the tips on having a painting business, things of what to do, what not to do. I really appreciated all the guests that were on the podcast too, that were able to give their valuable information. And I think one of my favorite episodes would be where Chris was talking about the importance of having a great customer experience, the importance of that, and and how that looks too. So I really appreciated that episode, and just been a big fan of it, and have always recommended it to other people just because I found it so helpful with my business. And then we were also destined to meet, Chris and I, on the plane on our way to the PCO Expo in 2023. And we just connected, and I had decided that I wanted to partner with him to be my business advisor. I needed some more help in my business, and just getting to know my numbers was really good. And just having, again, that support system that I needed to grow my business. It was already starting to grow pretty quickly. And I believe that my business has grown in a very healthy way because of being partnered with Elite Business Advisors, and just knowing my numbers and having their help with that. And so I really appreciate all that they have done for me. And I can't imagine my business being where it is right now without them. And so I'm really excited for the future of Elite Business Advisors and all that you all have done. And I, for one, will have to say that I have not abandoned my job costing sheet, and I actually really love it. So been very important to me. And again, I couldn't imagine what I would have done without Chris Moore and Elite Business Advisors. And I appreciate you all, and congratulations on your 250th episode. Thank you.
My name is Steve Lockwood. I own Lockwood Finishes based out of Springfield, Illinois. One of the most impactful things I've found after listening to, it seems like every episode of Elite Business Advisors podcast, is my numbers. Knowing the numbers and realizing that these numbers can be on purpose. They're not random. I can know my numbers ahead of time. I can price stuff on purpose. I can collect stuff on purpose. I can give raises on purpose. I can promote people on purpose. The numbers, it's not just the pricing numbers, it's the collecting number. It is the pricing number, the collecting number, the spend number, all of this stuff on purpose. They give you a game plan ahead of time. It's a cheat code. It's a cheat code for painters. I'm not having just learn and then try stuff at random. Elite Business Advisors, they're such a professional company that they're very graceful, but they give you this stuff ahead of time. It's a game plan. I can promote painters on purpose now, not just let's just try it and see what happens. There's a game plan. Hey, we need to do this first, and then this, so on and so forth. And the knowledge, knowing my numbers, knowing the money, but then knowing the management, knowing the pricing, knowing the collecting, knowing the spend, knowing the stuff on purpose. They're giving me a vision, giving me a cheat code to follow, and it's on purpose. That's the most impactful thing, is I'm doing this stuff on purpose. Did I mention job costing? The job costing I used to do versus the job costing I do now. All of the data. I know the most profitable painter that I have, and I know the guy that needs the most work. I know the most profitable job sites we do. I know the ones that we don't do that well. I know the ones that I need to say yes to. I know the things that I need to say no to. All based on job costing. Job costing is not just the profit I'm making, but it's realizing what is working and what is not working. Not just price-wise, but the type of job. And their job costing sheet, I know they give it out for free. It's probably worth thousands of dollars. It's really wild that they just give this stuff out for free, but I'm learning it now. And the job costing is now, it's kind of fun. Helps you track a lot of things. So the impactful thing is doing it on purpose, pricing on purpose, collecting money on purpose, knowing how much my business costs to run and stay open, knowing how much the business needs to collect to be profitable. And they have helped me with this. I started working with them a couple of years ago. And we're definitely growing. I'm profitable because of it, and I'm structured better now because of them. My wife said, I don't know, it was a year ago, that they're just an answer to prayer. What they have done for myself, what they've done for my family, what they have done for my community and my employees, is just, I'm so thankful to be a part of their network. Their network is just so impactful, not just working directly with the advisors, but also becoming friends with the people that are also working with them. There are some that I talk to every single week. We can reach out to each other, and it's a really great thing. I'm so thankful to be a part of them after listening to, it seems like, all of their episodes, and then now working with them. It's such a great teamwork, such a great, we mesh so well together. It's been really great, and I'm a better person because of it. So thank you, Elite Business Advisors, for everything you guys do.
Hello, this is Sumter Cox with W. Sumter Cox Painting Contractors out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Congratulations to Chris and Elite Business Advisors for their podcast milestone. So I would say the most impactful thing that I've learned from Elite Business Advisors, it's really hard to pin down one, but to try to sum it up, I would say that it's good to know that you're not alone in this industry. It's nice to know that others have been through what you're going through as you're growing your business. And, beyond all the practical resources that Elite Business Advisors provides, on the financial side to kind of elevate that and take those things to the next level for us, it's really just great to have somebody to talk to and share your thoughts about your business, strategize, questions, and even more so, things about life and building a relationship. So I would say the most impactful thing that I've learned is that the more people that you can bring into your life and into your business that are on your side and that you can communicate with and kind of let your guard down with, so to speak, is absolutely invaluable. If you're looking to grow your business, it's great to have somebody like Chris and Elite Business Advisors on your side. So congrats. Thanks.
Hey, I'm Shane Fast with Renew Painting in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And I think the thing that I really was impacted by in terms of working with Elite Business Advisors was the challenge to move off-site. When we first started working with EBA, I was on-site very regularly, pretty much all the time, and still doing sales, ordering paint, all those things. And Chris and I talked one time and he said, hey, with you guys' opportunity, with your runway, with where you can grow, I think you're gonna need to be on site no more than 8 hours a week, no more than 4 hours at a time. And I remember thinking, there's no way that's even possible. And seeing our crew begin to flourish at that point, not without struggles. That was 2022. So 3.5 years later, we still, we kind of say, hey, we're still going to fall forward. We're going to try it. We're going to learn. We're going to fail. We're going to fall forward. Keep trying, stub our toe, keep going. So we're still learning, but that pulling offsite allowed me to invest in our team, to invest in the business, to invest in our processes, to really commit to seeing those things grow. And we've seen our business grow a lot since then. And so it was kind of one of those things where we looked at it and said, I'm a good painter, but let me use my gifts in the most strategic way. And so that challenge has made a huge difference in our business.
Thanks for plugging into this week's episode. I hope you're able to take a few nuggets away from it to implement into your business. Remember, knowledge without implementation is useless. If you're curious about what we do and how we help painting contractors all over North America, schedule a free business analysis meeting with us at www.elitebusinessadvisors.com. Our entire team of advisors have ran and managed painting companies just like myself and are here to help support you on your journey. We have packages available for contractors at every stage of business, from flying solo and just starting out, all the way to multi-million-dollar businesses. And lastly, if you loved this episode, please leave us a rating and a review. It helps others on the platform find our podcast, and it could be the best blessing that's ever happened to them thanks to you. Thanks for plugging in, and we'll see you back for next week's episode.